Hey guys, what's going on? So welcome to day 5 of the 0 to 10K challenge. This is a challenge where I'm teaching you how to start a conversational AI agency from scratch and take it to $10,000 per month. In the last video, we went over cold outreach methods and how to get your first client or maybe first few clients. And in this one, we will be going over my favorite method of getting clients and leads consistently for your business. And this does not just pertain to the conversational AI agency. Obviously, it's since this is day 5, it's going to be very useful and applicable to that. But this is going to be useful and applicable to anybody who is running a business in general and wants to generate leads. So the first thing I'm going to go over is creating the actual ad creative and best practices when doing so. So one of the things that I utilize or came up with whenever I started really understanding the algorithm and how it works, especially on Facebook when you're running Facebook ads, is creative-based targeting. So one of the ways that people used to run ads, and this was a couple years ago, even like prior to 2020, was detailed targeting or interest-based targeting is what they would call it. So you would basically try to dial down your target audience based on using people's interest on the platform, or using like what they might have in the bio of their profile, and you would try to find your target audience first, and then run your ad to the target audience that you would find based on your interest selection that you would choose. One of the things that I do and that I've started doing is we run it 100% broad. So all of our campaigns are purely broad. We do a limited amount of targeting, and we use creative-based targeting. So we make sure that our message and our like the message we are trying to get across to our target audience is very, very easy to understand, and it's very obvious to what we're offering on the creative itself. So I'm going to go into this, and I'll give a couple examples. So in this throughout this challenge, right, we're building a conversational AI agency. Our target audience is going to be business owners who want to utilize our services. So one of the first things I follow when I'm creating an ad creative, and if you want to use some of the AI resources in Canva, you could just type in AI here. Give me one. So if you go up in the search bar, you type in AI, it'll bring up a bunch of creatives that you can edit and you can kind of make your own. But the first thing you want to do is you want it to look good, right? So you want to choose from one of their templates, unless you are an experienced graphic designer who can make stuff from scratch. You want to choose from a template to make it easier on yourself. And then you want to follow what's called the 5-second rule. The 5-second rule is if I close my eyes and I open my eyes, within the first 5 seconds, I should be able to tell what's going on the ad, who the target audience should be for, what the offer is, and if you're local, where it is at. So if I was offering this in California, for example, or let's say Los Angeles, I would put like Los Angeles residents or something in the corner, right? So that's just an example. But what you want is you want the creative itself, even the image in the background, to be very obvious to what it's offering, right? So when people see it, they know. And then you also want an incentive, like a free trial, because when people come across your ads and you're trying to generate leads, they owe you nothing, right? They don't owe it to you to opt into the ad. I hear a lot of people say like, I only want to work with people who are serious. Well, good luck running a business then, because it's not going to work that way. You need to incentivize people to sign up and schedule onto your calendar, or you're not going to make any money. And this kind of goes into setting yourself apart from the competition, right? You're not the only marketing agency or only conversational AI agency that is offering these services. So what sets you apart? One of those things is going to be a free trial. You're making it very user-friendly and easy for people to sign up for what it is that you offer. So in our case, we offer a free trial, but it's not necessarily like they're trialing our services for a week. It's we create a bot for them and we let them talk to it beforehand so they can get an idea of what the experience is going to be like and how the actual conversational AI communicates, right? So they still get the experience. But the free trial on the front end, when you're putting it on the ad, is an incentive for a complete stranger that sees your ad on Facebook to actually sign up and go through your process. That is what the free trial is for. You're going to generate way more leads, and you're going to have a pool of business owners or people within your target audience that are going to be interested in this service, okay? So again, 5-second rule. You want to know, you close your eyes, you open them, exactly what it is, where it's at, what it's offering, and who the target audience might be. The reason why you do this, and I'll break it down, is let's say you generate, or let's say 10 people see your ad, and let's say 2 out of those 10 people are within your target audience. So they are business owners, right, that could utilize these services. And those 2 people spend a little bit more time on your ad because they can tell that it is for them and that they are interested. So right off the bat, they're like, oh, conversational AI appointment setters. This could be useful to my business. So I'm going to click the read more button, right? They're spending more time on the ad. I'm going to open the description. I'm going to open the lead form. I might even submit the lead form. So those people are spending more time on the ad, and Facebook collects the demographic information from those people. So like the household income, their age range, their gender, whatever it might be, and it starts to retarget people that look like those individuals. So if they're business owners, we're able to show our ad mostly to business owners as the algorithm starts to learn more and more about the people who are spending more time on the ad. So if the ad is not completely obvious to where it's going to stop your target audience in their tracks and they know whether or not it's for them, then nobody's going to spend time on your ad, and Facebook's going to have a lot of trouble trying to find your target audience. So hopefully that makes sense. So that is the entire methodology when crafting an ad creative that is going to align with the Facebook algorithm. Now, what we're going to do next is we're going to come up here, share. We're going to download, and you want this to be a relatively large file size. And this could be all in my head, but I do think that Facebook favors higher quality images. So a larger file size, and then you're going to download these images. You're going to have a zip file, open up the zip file, and then we're going to go ahead and launch these campaigns. All right, guys, let's get this show on the road. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to come into your Facebook ad account. We're going to go up here. We're going to click Create. We're going to create a lead campaign, and it's going to ask you if you would like a tailored leads campaign or a manual leads campaign, and we're going to click Manual. Now, I always like to keep everything organized, so we're going to go ahead and name this. So this is the so there are 3 levels to an advertising campaign. There's the campaign level, right, which is the level that we're on right here, and then there is the ad set level, and there is the ad level. Okay, so the campaign houses the ad set, and the ad set houses the ad itself. So at the campaign level, really all we're going to do here is we're going to decide whether or not we want to use Advantage Campaign Budget. I personally do not like to use it. What this is doing is if you were to have, let's say, 10 ad sets, and the ad set level is really where you select your audience and your placements, etc. So if you were to have 10 ad sets and you set your budget to, let's say $20 a day, it's going to take your $20 and it's going to disperse it across all of the ad sets. And the algorithm is going to start kind of applying the budget to whatever it wants to apply the budget to, according to obviously like people's behaviors and what it thinks is going to perform best. But sometimes, I feel like at the campaign level, Facebook doesn't always make the right decision, or it makes decisions too quickly. So it doesn't spend any money or enough money on certain, ad sets to know whether or not they're going to work, but it will still just stop spending money and apply the budget to other ad sets. So I don't like to use campaign budget. I like to use my budget at the ad set level. So if you keep it off when you come here, you're still going to be able to select what budget you would like to use. Okay. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to click next. We're going to keep the Advantage Campaign Budget. We're going to keep that off. Now, we're coming here, and usually I'll name this whatever the targeting is. And I'll go into that. So you're going to select your Facebook page. You're going to select your budget at the ad set level. And I like to spend a minimum of $500 a month, especially whenever I started, which is roughly $16 a day. You can really spend whatever aligns with your budget, right? If you want to spend $5 a day, $10 a day, cool. It's going to make it harder for you to exit the learning phase. But like if that's all you have to work with, then it's still better to run the ads and try to get some clients than to not run them at all. Really, what I think is optimal to make it out of the learning phase, because I don't even think $500 a month is enough to truly make it out of the learning phase unless you have a really low cost per lead, is $1,000 a month, which is roughly $33 per day. So, and if you don't know what the learning phase is, basically it's when you run a campaign, whatever your objective is, whether it's leads, clicks, or whatever it might be, Facebook wants to collect a certain amount of data to learn, right? So so it learns like the demographic or who it wants to show the ads to, basically, and then it makes it out of the learning phase once it's collected enough data. But if you're collecting data too slow, then it makes it almost relatively impossible to make it out of the learning phase, because I think it collects its data over a period of 7 days. So if you don't generate enough leads or you don't generate enough clicks or whatever it is over a period of 7 days, then you just get stuck in the learning phase and you don't really have you don't really optimize your ad campaigns, if that makes sense. Hopefully that wasn't too much talking. I like to talk a lot. All right, we're going to move back down. We're going to go audience controls, and we are going to show more options. Actually, no, we're not. Here we go. Okay, you're going to switch to original audience. I don't use Advantage Audience yet. Now, what we want to do is we're going to leave this completely broad. The only thing we're going to change or manipulate is the age range. I don't know about you. I don't know a lot of 18-year-old business owners. There are some out there, a fair amount, but you still want to select an age range that is, so for example, I have one of my clients, they do a weight loss offer, and they target women that are going through menopause, right? So I would probably go all women, right? because it wouldn't make sense to target men, and it wouldn't make sense to target 18-year-old women. So whatever offer that you're running, or whatever you have to offer, you want to make sure that you're selecting an age range where most people, or where your target audience is most likely to fall in. So for business owners, I like to go, let's say 25 to 65 plus, or even 25 to 60. Okay. Now, audience placements is basically like whether you're showing your ads on Reels, whether you're showing your ads on the actual feed itself, audience network, whatever. Lately, I've seen that the advantage placements are doing a much better job than my manual placements used to. So they're making it easier for us. Just keep this as advantage placements. And this is basically where you're letting the Facebook algorithm decide, based on the behaviors, which platforms it's going to show its ads to. So if it's getting more clicks on Reels, it will naturally start showing more of your ads on Reels instead of other platforms, or not platforms, but other placements. So I'll just keep this here. Beautiful. And now let's actually name this ad set. So we're going to name it broad, and then we did 23 to 6 or 25 to 60. Wonderful. Perfect. Okay, cool. Now we have the ad level, and I honestly, some people make names for their ads specific to the ad, creative, but I just number them like 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're gonna go here. And we're going to turn off multi-advertiser ads. Basically what this is it tricks you and it says, hey, you want to show your ad to more people, turn this on. But what it's doing is it's basically putting your ad next to other people's ads or next to your competitors' ads. So yes, you're being seen by more people, but you're also being placed, like you're not being singled out. You're being placed next to your competitors. So we want to keep this off. Then we're going to go to the images we download. We're going to go ahead and upload one. And I actually already imported mine. But what you're going to do is you're going to click the folder, you're going to select both of these, and then you're going to go ahead and open. It's going to import them, and now we're going to select them here. So I'm going to select image number 1 that we created, our obvious image, right? And then we are going to go to ChatGPT, and we're going to write an ad copy. So I'm going to walk you through my entire process that I went through of making this ad copy. So first I said, make me an ad copy for an AI appointment setters who are offering AI appointment setters we are offering to business owners. We have a free trial, and it's basically a 24-hour assistant that manages sales pipelines. Research for Facebook ad copy best practices before crafting, please. So it writes a headline, writes a body copy, cool. And then I saw a cool ad copy on the Facebook ad library that I liked that was for fitness. So I said, hey, take this fitness ad copy and cater or use the same structure. Actually, here's the actual prompt that I used. So I said, love it. Make it match the format of this ad copy instead. And then I pasted that ad copy below, and it rewrote the entire ad copy, and it catered it specifically to business owners and conversational AI. So I copied this. We're going to go ahead and copy it right now, actually. And we're going to use that as the ad copy. So the most important part about the ad copy is going to be the first headline. So people, the number one thing is, well, I guess the number two thing is the headline. Number one thing is the image. You want it to be obvious. It's a big thing that everybody's going to see so that they know whether or not it's for them. Then the second most important thing is going to be the headline right here, because this is the next thing they're going to see. Then their eyes are going to go down here. I also realized that I didn't set it up for instant forms. So we're going to set this up specifically for instant forms. And again, this is basically how you want to generate your leads. So Messenger would mean like the leads are going directly to the Messenger. Instant forms is what I use every time because I'll actually break down why. So we use something called lead forms to collect these leads, right? And if you're sending someone, hopefully you guys know what a landing page is, but if you send someone to a landing page to collect somebody's information, you use something that's called a Facebook pixel to install on the landing page, which is basically an HTML code that is that helps track or collect demographic data from the visitors that are coming from your ad and going to your landing page. So this helps with retargeting, right? Lately, over the last couple of years, it's becoming harder and harder to collect that demographic data, specifically because of like iOS updates and stuff with cellular devices. So basically, when you click on the ad, it's pulling you away from the Facebook ad or the Facebook platform, and it's taking you onto your URL wherever your landing page is. And the problem is you don't always have permissions to collect the person's information or know their location, etc. Right? Whenever you open up Google, it'll ask you, do you want to share your location? So when it takes you off the Facebook platform, you no longer get that information. You lose it. most of the time. So unless you're using something like Cometly or Hyros, where they actually give you an API to collect more demographic info, then you're not really going to get that. So we use what's called lead forms, and lead forms have almost like their own pixel. You kind of want to think of it as like that, where it collects the demographic data, but we get significantly more of the data because we're directly on the Facebook platform. They never have to leave the Facebook platform to submit their information. So we're able to see if someone like opens up the lead form or spends more time on the ad, we're able to see, oh, this is a business owner that is a male between the ages of 25 and 45 with a household income of $150,000 a year. And it will start naturally retargeting people like that. So we get a much lower cost per lead and we get better results with lead forms. The only time I would advise having a landing page, especially in B2B, I think in B2B, most of the times you're good. You have an ad, you have an offer that is very direct. It's like sign up if you're interested. If you have some type of like coaching offer where that is very high ticket and it requires more consumer education, I think a landing page is great. I think it works for some medical offers as well. It just depends on your offer specifically, but for the majority of cases, I will always go in the direction of using lead forms because you collect so much more information and you get so much more data. All right, there's my spiel on that. Now let's go back into this ad. So again, we're using instant forms, which is what I just showed you, those lead forms. And so next thing we're going to do is we're going to come in here. We're going to use that text. And then we're going to make a headline. And it's just going to be something simple. Beautiful. Awesome. Next thing we are going to work on is our form. Again, we have our image, which is what they're going to look at first. Actually, we do not have our image. But now we do have our image. Cool. Okay, so we have our image, what people are going to see first. Then we have this being the second most important part. So whatever they're going to see up here before it says see more, very important. We want them to know exactly what the hell's going on in this headline. And then you have the body of the copy as well. And then you have the third most important, which is the headline. Now we have our form. So we're going to go ahead and open this up. So the form is going to be used to collect some extra information, right? We want to put some questions on the form, which won't necessarily, well, it might qualify them, but also we just want to add some friction on the form to bring in people that are serious. What I think works best is to have one multiple choice question and then have one easy to answer short answer question. There's something about someone actually having to type something down that makes it more, makes it more real when you get that lead, right? Somebody actually clicked on it, didn't just like click a bunch of buttons and go through everything. They had to manually type an answer to a question. So someone really spent some time on that. So I really like this in terms of generating quality leads. It sounds simple. It sounds like it might not make a difference, but it really does. All right, and then you can add a greeting or not add a greeting. A greeting is basically like you get to choose like a headline up here and maybe a list of some bullet points, whatever it might be. I typically just leave it blank unless, again, you have like an offer that needs some consumer education, or maybe you just want to remind them of the features of your service. Then we have questions. So we have one multiple choice, one short answer is what I would advise. And then you have you're collecting information. You want a little statement up here. We're going to collect full name, phone number, email. Then we have a privacy policy, where I would just, you can either use a direct URL, but if you have a privacy policy, I would load it in here. It's going to make it that much better. And then you have the message for leads. So you always want to have a redirect to another call to action to book an appointment, right? If you don't, then people are just going to go nowhere and you're just going to get a lead and you're not going to be able to like filter out like who's more serious and who's not serious. Here we have, wait, you're not done, book your call below. So now you have layer number one where people are actually submitting their information, becoming a lead. And then you have layer number two where people are like, you know what, I'm going to go the extra mile and I'm going to go ahead and self-book. So we attach our Go HighLevel calendar link right here as the call to action. Great. Hold on. Let me exit out of here and let's open this bad boy back up. Message for leads. Cool. So we paste our Go HighLevel calendar link here so that they can go the extra mile and they can open this up. And now they can select the time and schedule a consultation for you to call them. And then you're going to get a smaller percentage of people that are going to book and actually like submit their information and then book afterwards. And these people are very serious. They went out of their way. They spent like 2 to 3 minutes on your ad to actually submit their information and book an appointment and answer some additional questions, even if you have a booking form as well. We have a booking form. We ask more questions like revenue, etc. So this is, you always want to have a redirect. You want to make your form as user-friendly as possible to get bookings. This is going to maximize the number of appointments that you get. Perfect. Cool. Now we have this made. So we have the ad copy, the headline, and we have the form created. Now what we're going to do is we're going to duplicate this because we like to test. We want to see what is going to work best. So this is going to be number 2. And we're going to only change the image. The ad creative is what we are going to change and test. So you want to limit the number of variables, especially if you're strapped for cash or like you have a smaller budget. You want to limit the number of variables that you test at once, because if something starts working, you want to know why it worked. And then you want to kind of you find different ways to use that same strategy of whatever worked to, rinse and repeat. Okay, so now we have 2 images here, right? So we have image number 1, image number 2, under one audience or one ad set. So campaign level, ad set level, and then 2 ads. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do a quick duplicate of this. And this is just if you wanted to do some additional testing. So now we have a second ad set, right? And notice we have one ad set with 2 ads, right? And then we have another ad set with 2 ads. So the ads are exactly the same. Everything's exactly the same. We have 2 ads that are being tested here. Now what we want to do is test another audience. So what we're going to do is come down here and we're going to go to detailed targeting and we're going to put business owners and small business owners. So we're going to go off of behaviors. So basically Facebook is measuring people's behaviors, what they're spending time on, what kind of videos they're watching, etc. And they're matching it to small business behaviors. And they're basically deeming that person as a small business owner or not. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this as a behavior to target, and it's still giving us a relatively large audience size, right? It's like 3 to 4 million around there. So it's broad enough where we can this still might produce us some good results if Facebook did a good job at dialing these people down. So now we're going to come back up here and we're going to change the name to business owners, 25 to 60. Okay, so now here we have 2 different ad sets. One, we're testing one audience, which is business owner interests, and then we're testing just completely broad. And then within the ad sets, we're testing 2 different ads. So now when you're running this and you launch this campaign, so let's say we publish this bad boy, right? We're going to come to, we have the campaign level, where we click here, and now we have 2 ad sets. So you're going to be able to measure the performance in clicks, and some of the data that you're going to be able to look at is like the link clicks, cost per link click-through rate, etc. And then obviously the most important would be the cost per lead, how many leads we're generating. And you're going to see which is producing the best results. After you let's say you let it run for a week, you spend a couple $100, and you're like, okay, let's look at the results here. This one, business owners, is producing way more leads than this one is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off this one, and I'm going to allocate the majority of the budget to the ad set that's performing best. Now I can go to the ad level. It's showing 4 ads, but there's 2 for each, right? So, but let's go into here at the ad set level. So we're like, okay, the business owner's ad set was performing best. Now I want to see which ad under the business owner ad set is performing best. So I'll look at this and I'll look at the range here, and let's say one is $10 per lead and the other is $30 per lead. I want my budget to be allocated to the best performing ads. So now I'm going to come in here and I'm going to turn off all of the ads that are not performing under that ad set. Now, if you have, let's say, 2 ads and they were relatively close, like let's say one was $7 per lead and the other was $10, I would keep both of them on. And here's why. When you have 2 ads that are performing relatively decent, you avoid creative fatigue for a longer period of time. Creative fatigue is when you're running, let's say you have one ad that's running and generating all your leads, and then you get to this point where your ad has been seen by the same people so many times that it kind of becomes boring to the algorithm, or like plateaued. So the cost per lead will either plateau or will start slowly increasing because it's been shown to the same audience over and over and over again. You avoid creative fatigue by having more creatives or ad creatives that are performing relatively decent, right? So if you have 2 ads that are $10 per lead, you're basically doubling your time horizon on how much time you have before the ad fatigues, if that makes sense. So if you have 2 ads that are, one's 7, one's 10, or one's 12 and one's 15, where it's close enough where you could just leave both of them on, you're probably going to get relatively the same results. I would do that because it's going to buy you more time before you reach that creative fatigue area. The last thing you have to do, and that's the end of the spiel for launching the ad campaign successfully, and the best practices that go into that. Remember, the most important thing, in my opinion, is creating the ad creative and catering it to the algorithm so that it can find your target demographic. Now, the last thing you would have to do is connect this to the CRM or go HighLevel. So what you would do is you would come into go HighLevel. You're going to go to settings, and you're going to come to integrations. And if you're not a part of my school community, I actually have a way more in-depth course on making all of these connections, integrations, and launching the ad campaigns. And it's in a course called Inbound Accelerator in the school community. So if you're not a part of it, I would join the school community, and there's way more information in there. So you're going to connect your Facebook, and this process is actually very user-friendly. So you'll just click connect, and then it'll ask you to log in really quick, and then you'll select the page, and then you'll come to Facebook form fields mapping, right? And you're going to see this map fields button. And what you're doing here, when you're mapping fields, you want to match the questions that you have on the form, so the lead form that we created, with maybe custom fields that you create in the platform. So you want to scroll down, and what I would do is actually create a custom field here that is the exact same as the question that you have on the form. And then when you're making this integration, you can come in here and map the fields, select the question or whatever it might be that aligns with that. I don't have one directly in here, so I'm just going to select some random ones. And then you're going to map those fields so that we can also pull the answers to their questions into the system and assign it to their contact. And all of that will be automated as well. You don't have to do any of this. None of that's manual. So now our Facebook form fields are mapped, right? So what we're going to do is go back, and we're going to go to automations. You're going to go to AI, and we have our conversational AI workflow. And we're going to make sure that our trigger here is Facebook lead form submitted. And what that's going to do is right when a lead is generated, it's going to pull them in here automatically, send that first text message out, and then your AI assistant is going to take over from there. I would also do in creator update opportunity stage as well. And you're going to want to move that. So this is going to be contact full name. That's going to be the name of the opportunity. It's going to be in pipeline, lead gen, new leads. We're going to save that. Beautiful. Awesome. Great. So that is end-to-end how this entire process would work. So creating the ad and catering it to the Facebook algorithm, actually setting up the ad and deploying it within Facebook, and then connecting it to here. I think the offer is sexy enough, or like AI in general is sexy enough to the point where even if you were sucked at this process, you set up the ad campaign wrong and you sucked at making the ads in general, I think you're still going to generate leads. We're in a time right now where this type of business or this type of service is a super hot commodity. I think that it's very easy to get under $10 leads or under $15 leads in if you're offering this service right now. So just get to it. Launch some campaigns. It doesn't matter what your budget is. I think if you just get started, this is going to be the easiest way to make money in this business. This is what I started off with cold outreach, obviously, and then I landed, a few clients. But I have seen the most success with Facebook ads. And when I mastered the Facebook ads, there's no going back. So we constantly generate leads. We constantly get appointments. We constantly close deals. And it is the easiest way, in my opinion, in B2B to generate leads consistently and close deals. So hopefully this was helpful. I really just wanted to walk you guys through the entire process and make it as easy as possible to understand. If you have any questions about anything, or if I confused anybody, go ahead and ask some questions in the chat. I'm going to drop a 30-day free trial link for Go HighLevel in the description. I'm also going to give you a link to the Snapshot and access to our free school community. We have 3 group calls a week. We have a bunch of courses in there. There's almost 1,000 people in there, business owners, conversational AI owners, marketing agency owners, a bunch of people to connect with, and we just try to provide as much value as possible. So go ahead and join that if you haven't. Hopefully this was helpful. Really hope you guys found value in this. And then, I'll catch you in the next video.